Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss one problem on slope deflection method. Okay, so in this problem, basically we will be dealing with the rigid frame structures. Okay, as you can see in the problem, this is basically a rigid frame structure. Okay, it is a combination of, you can say that AB beam and one column which is BC. Okay, and all these load will be resisted by bending of beams or columns. Okay, so in rigid frame, the loads are resisted by basically the bending of beams and column, right? So now load means this vertical load and maybe some horizontal load maybe also be there, right? So we need to analyze this problem by using the concept of slope deflection method. Okay, in the analyzing the problem, what we need to find the external reactions, okay, at the supports, and we also need to find what are the internal reactions generated in the beams. Okay, internal reaction means what will be the shear force and bending moment coming on these beams and columns. Okay, so now let us, before analyzing this thing, let us find out this what will be the kinematic indeterminacy of this frame, right? Because this is the basic first step which we need to follow in slope deflection method. Okay, so kinematic indeterminacy is always defined at nodes point. Okay, so this joint is basically a rigid joint. Okay, at A, what will be the deflection at A? What will be the displacement will be available at A? At A will be having only theta A, right? There will be no vertical deflection, no horizontal deflection. Okay, at B will be having only one rotation, right? And there will be no sway in this beam because this is resisted at this horizontal reaction at A is resisting any movement over here. Okay, what I meant by that is that, and we are assuming that the axial deformation we are neglecting. Okay, so if this frame is sway, let us suppose if it is swaying, so this member need to extend. Okay, this member need to have some elongation in this member, but in case of our analysis, we are neglecting the axial deformations. Okay, we are neglecting this axial deformation. Okay, if there is a roller support over here, then this member can sway, right? Then this thing can sway. Okay, so this horizontal reaction at this support is restricting this horizontal sway. So this frame structure will not sway, right? Now, so total number of unknowns, total displacements, or you can say that kinematic indeterminacy is basically equals to 12, which is theta A and theta B, right? So we need to find what will be the value of theta A and theta B. Okay, and by finding those theta A and theta B, we will be calculating what are the internal moments generating on this beam AB and this column BC, right? So now first step in the slope deflection method is to write the equation. Okay, so let us suppose MAB equals to M of AB plus 2EI. I is what? 4I over my L is 12 bracket twice theta A plus theta B. Okay, there will be no delta term, right? So this is the first equation. Now in this equation, as you can see that we need to find this theta A and theta B, but before that we need to find what will be the value of MFAB. Okay, now the concept of MFAB will come because in the slope deflection method we are treating this beam as a fixed beam. Okay, we already derived this expression, right? So now this load is acting on this beam and one point load at this point, right? So MFAB due to this UDL will be equals to it will be in anti-clockwise direction, and the value will be 8 into 12 square divided by 12. Okay, due to this UDL, plus due to this point load it will be anti-clockwise at A, so the value will be 54 into 4 square into 8 divided by over 12 square. Okay, so this is the value of MFAB. Similarly, we can calculate what will be the value of MFBA. Okay, so MFBA means the friction moment generated at this B point. Okay, that will be equals to 8 into 12 square over my 12. It will be clockwise. Okay, and plus 54 into 8 square into 4 over my 12 square. Right. This is basically the length of the beam. Okay. So if I calculate this value, four square into 8 divided by 12. So this MFAB comes out to be minus 144 kilonewton meter. Okay. And this value, this MFBA will be, this value is 96 plus 54 into 8 square into 4 divided by 12 square. So again this value will be 96. So 96 into 2 will be 192. So MFBA will be is 192 kilonewton meter. Okay. So what we did over here is that we calculated what are the friction moment generated at this due to loads at these points A and B. Okay, at this portion there won't be any friction support, because there won't be any friction moment, because there is no load acting on this portion, this column BC. Right. The purpose of actually these friction moments we are responsible for these displacement components. Right. So now let us put the value in this equation. MFAB is minus 144 plus 2e into 4i over my 12. This is twice theta A plus theta B, right? If we solve this equation, it will be 4ei theta A over my 3, right? And this is equals to, this is plus 8 plus 2 by 3 ei theta B. Okay, let us term this equation as A, right? And this is equals to MAB. Okay. Now let us come to this B point. I can write MBA equals to MFBA plus 2e into 4i over my 12 into twice theta B plus theta A. Okay. So what is the value of MFBA? We have calculated 192, plus this will be again 4 by 3 ei theta B. Okay, this will be plus 2 by 3 ei theta A. Okay, so this is the value of MBA. Let us term it as B, right? Now come to this BC point. For this BC portion, MBC will be equals to M of BC plus 2ei, I is I only, length is 4, twice theta B plus theta C, right? Theta C is 0, MFBC is 0. Okay, so I can write MBC equals to 4ei theta B divided by 4. So it will be ei theta B, right? So this is the value of MBC, which is ei theta B. Okay, and this is rigid joint, so at B we'll have only one rotation. Okay, if this would have been a hinge joint, then we'll have a different rotation. One is theta BA and one will be theta BC, right? So now this is the case. Now what will be the value of MCB? MCB I can write MCB will be equals to M of CB plus 2ei over my 4 twice theta C plus theta B, right? So this theta C is 0, this term is 0. So the value will be MCB equals to 0.5, or you can say that EI theta B divided by 2. So this will be, this is, if this is B, the latest term, this is a C, and this is D. Okay. So basically, now we need to form some equilibrium equation. Okay. So for the equilibrium equation, what we can assume? One condition we have one condition we can get over here is that this A is basically a hinge support. So moment at this end will be 0. So I can write this moment equals to 0. Okay. So this equation will become 4EI theta A, 4 by 3 EI theta A plus 2 by 3 EI theta B equals to 144. This is one equation. Okay. Now I need another equation. Okay. So if we consider this joint B. Okay. This is a moment MBA. Okay. And again, this moment is MBC. Okay. So for the equilibrium of this rigid joint, I need to write MBA plus MBC will be equals to 0. So this condition, this equilibrium condition will give me the, what you can say, that another equation, right? So what is the value of MBA? MBA is nothing but 192 plus 4 by 3 EI theta B plus 2 by 3 EI theta A plus, and what is the value of MBC? It is nothing but EI theta B. Okay. So this value should be equals to 0, right? So if I solve this thing, I'll get, this is 192, right? So I will be getting 2 by 3 EI theta A plus this 4 by 3 plus EI theta, this will be equals to 7 by 3 EI theta B. Okay, so this is equation number 2. Now we need to solve these two equations. Okay, so if I solve this equation, I can solve this equation in calculator. So A value will be 4 divided by 3, B is 2 divided by 3, C is 144, and E is 2 divided by 3, B is 7 divided by 3, C is minus 192. So theta A, so value of theta A I am getting is 174 over my EI, and this is basically positive. So positive means this is clockwise rotation. Okay, and what is the value of theta B? Theta B is nothing, it's coming minus of 132 over my EI. This is negative, means anti-clockwise. Okay, so this is the value which we are getting for theta A and theta B. Now with the using this value, we need to find what are the end moments generating at this B support and this C point. Okay, okay, I dropped this thing. This is MAB. Okay. Now you can see that MCB, MBC, I wrote that thing, MBC equals to, this is equals to 2EI over में 4 twice theta A plus theta C. So this value is 0 basically. So this is EI theta B. Okay. So now we will find what is the value of first MBC. Okay. So MBC is equals to basically EI into theta B. Theta B value is nothing but 132 over में EI. So this is nothing but EI into minus 132 over में EI. So it will cancel out EI. So MBC is minus 132 kilonewton meter, right? So this is the value of MBC. Okay. If I know the value of MBC, it will be like this. If this is, let us suppose this is a joint. Okay. MBC value is negative, means it is acting anti-clockwise. So anti-clockwise is like this. This is 132. Now the clockwise rotation will act on the joint. This is 132. To balance this thing, there will be an anti-clockwise. This is again 132. Okay. And on this member, there will be a clockwise rotation, clockwise movement. So this will be 132. Okay. So MBC, no, this is MBC now. Okay, this is MBC basically minus 132. Okay, it's okay. So this is M32, this is MBA basically, right? So there will be anti-clockwise. To balance this, there will be a clockwise movement, and again on this member there will be an anti-clockwise, minus 132, right? So with the help of MBC, we have calculated MBA, right? So this MBA is clockwise movement, right? So MBA value will be 132 kilonewton meter. Okay. Now let us come to this value of MCB. MCB will be EI into theta B divided by 2. Okay, basically it will be MBC divided by 2. So MBC is minus 132 divided by 2. So this value is nothing but minus 66 kilonewton meter. Okay, so this is the value for MCB. So we have calculated all the things. MBC is basically minus 132 kilonewton meter. MBA is equals to 132 kilonewton meter, and MCB is equals to minus of 66 kilonewton meter. Okay, so minus sign have some significance over here. Okay, so in this way we will calculate what are the value of theta A, and with the value of theta A we will put this value of theta in this force displacement relationship. These are basically force displacement relationship. Okay, so by putting these values of theta, we are getting this value of this internal reactions, right? So now next step is to draw the free body diagram of this thing, and after that we'll find what will be the shear force and what will be the bending moment in case of this frame structure. Okay. So guys, now we need to draw this free body diagram. Okay, so let us draw this figure over here. There is a UDL acting on this beam AB, and there is a column which is BC column. Okay, and at this point there will be some reactions or movement, right? So at MBA is at a distance of 4 meter, there is a load 54 kilonewton. Okay, and the value of this is 8 kilonewton per meter, right? Now you can see that at this end, this MBA value of MBA is a clockwise movement which is 132. Okay. There will be some vertical reaction at this point, which I don't know. At this point also, there will be a vertical reaction, this B point. Okay. And to balance this thing, the same reaction will be acting in downward direction. Okay. And the moment MBC moment is basically anti-clockwise. So one moment is minus 132 will be acting here. Okay. Now let us find what will be the reaction at this VA support. Okay. So if we want to find the reaction at VA support, I am taking this summation MB equals to 0 for this portion, right? So I can write VA into 12 equals to 8 into 12 into 6. Okay. 8 into 12 total load, and it will be act at the center of this beam. Okay. Plus 54 into 4 and minus of 132, right? So if I calculate VA from here, it will be 8 into 12 into 6 plus 54 into 4 minus of 132. So divide by 12 will give me the value. VA is nothing but 55 kilonewton. Okay. So this value is 55 kilonewton, right? Now there will be some reaction at this point also. We need to calculate that thing. So if I consider the equilibrium of vertical forces for this portion, I can write 55 plus this VB dash, okay, or you can say that VB equals to 8 into 12 plus 54, right? So the value will be 8 into 12 plus 54 minus 55. So this value VB equals to 95 kilonewton. Okay, so this value is acting, this load is nothing but 95 kilonewton. Okay, now same load to balance this joint, same load will act in opposite direction, and the value of this again will be 95 kilonewton. Okay, now from this end there will be a, to balance this downward load 95, there will be an upward force which will be 95 kilonewton. Okay. And this value of MCB is 66 kilonewton meters, and it is in anti-clockwise direction. So at this end, the moment value is minus 66, or you can say that 66 kilonewton meter. Okay, negative sign is just showing the direction basically, right? So here also this is anti-clockwise, this is anti-clockwise. Okay. Now to balance this, if I consider this thing, now to balance this force, now to balance this moment, these two moments, there will be some reaction generated, horizontal reaction generated at this point. Okay, so it will be in this direction. This is basically anti-clockwise couple, both are anti-clockwise couple. So to balance this, there will be some clockwise couple. So I can write 132 plus 66 equals to this HC into 4. Okay, so 132 plus 66 divided by 4. So this value is HC equals to 49.5. So the direction is positive, the HC value is positive, so direction is okay. So this value is 49.5, right? And this value is 49.5, okay? To balance this thing, there will be a horizontal force equal in magnitude but will act in this direction, and to balance this thing there will be an again horizontal force. So this value is again 49.5, this value is again 49.5. So this is the case, right? So this is basically the free body diagram of this at this node points. Basically you can say at this node points we have shown the free body diagram. Now with the help of this we can easily plot the shear force and the bending moment, right? So let us do that thing. Guys, this how the forces this free body diagram is very important. Okay, you need to have the clear idea how the forces are generated and how they are transferred from one member to another member, like from here, this from this beam to this column, how the forces are transferred. Okay, that is an important thing to understand, right? So now let us draw this shear force diagram and this bending moment diagram. Okay, if this is the beam, okay, here one load at 54 kilonewton, this distance is 8 meter, this UDL is 8 kilonewton per meter. This is A, this is B, and this is C, right? Now, for the beam, the direction of the shear force diagram will be same as we have assumed earlier, okay? This thing will always be considered positive, okay? Now, at A, you can see that the vertical reaction is in upward direction, okay? So, if I cut from, so this will be positive, right? So, this will be positive. So I need to plot shear force diagram from this point. This is 55 kilonewton basically. Right? Shear force from this end is positive when it is upwards. Okay. So this is upward. So 55 kilonewton force will be there. Okay. Now there is a UDL, okay, so due to this UDL, there will be a linear variation of the shear force, okay. Now you can see that at this end, if I plot, if at this end, at this B end, the shear force is basically, the value of shear force is 95 kilonewton, okay. The value of shear force is 95 kilonewton and it will be in downward direction. Because it is acting in upwards, so if we start from this portion, so the shear force will be negative, okay. So it will be, it won't look like this, okay. At what point, basically at what point the shear force will be 0? So this load is basically 55, I can write 55 minus of 8x is equals to 0. Let us see at what point the shear force is getting 0 value. So 55 divided by 8 is equals to 6.875, right? So at this distance 6.875, the value of the shear force is getting 0. Okay. And at this point, what you can say at D point, the value will be 8 into 55 minus 8 into 8. So this value is basically, this value is 9 kilonewton, okay. Now there will be an addition of 54 plus 9, okay. So at this point there will be some, this value is and it will look like this, okay. So this is the basically the, what you can say that shear force diagram for this vertical member, right? For this, you can say that for this beam, which is for this beam, which is a horizontal member basically, right? So you can see that at this end, the value is 95 kilonewton, okay? So now you can see that now you can see that this value of the shear force is getting 0 at this distance 6.875, okay. Now the most important part for this vertical member, how to draw the shear force diagram, okay, and how to assume the directions. So for the shear force diagram for this vertical member, okay, if let us suppose this is C member, right, you need to look from here. Okay, from this side I am looking. Okay, when I am looking from this side, when I am looking from this side, you can see that the shear force is acting here. Okay, the shear force is, if I am looking from this side, the shear force is acting in this direction. Okay, so this will be considered positive. I consider this direction as positive. Okay, as per this diagram, if I'm saying like this will be considered positive. This will be considered positive. Okay, so if this is considered positive, okay, and I'm assuming that if, let us suppose, in this direction, if this is my positive axis, okay, if this is the positive axis, this side, right? So I can write, if this is the positive, I can start the shear force from here, and the value will be what? You can say that this value is nothing but 49.5. Okay, and and again, now at this point, this will go straight. Okay, and it will come down. It will come to this point. This is 49.5. Okay, so for this member, this is positive shear force diagram basically. Right? So this is the case. So this is you just need to look from this side and assume the direction as you assume. Okay, now let us, this is the case, this is the way you draw the what you can say that shear force diagram for this column portion. Okay, this is how the directions are assumed similar. Okay, now let us come to the bending moment. Okay, now let us come to the bending moment part. Okay, okay, now for the bending moment, as per the directions, as per the previous direction which we have assumed, we generally assume that sagging we consider positive. Okay, and hogging, this is sagging, and the hogging we consider negative. Okay, this is the general thing we assume. Okay, but this for this thing, if we draw this for this AB portion, okay, let us draw this this what you can say that bending moment diagram for this AB portion. Okay, so you can see that at this portion there will be zero moment. There will be, this is the value, the bending moment diagram will start from here. Okay, at what is the value of MBA value is what you can say that it is acting like this. This is 132. Okay, so this will start from this point. Okay, now you can see that at this point the bending moment diagram will be maximum at this point. Okay, and at some point it will be zero at this point, because it has to come to this negative point, right? So this value is nothing but 132. Okay, and if you want to find what is the value we are getting at this point, okay, this maximum value we need to get, because if we want to design this beam, we need to have this maximum value, right? If this is maximum, this is maximum, we'll see. Okay, so let us use the concept of what you can say dm by dx equals to shear force. Okay, so dm equals to s dx shear force. So if I integrate this thing, I can write mf minus of m initial equals to area under shear force diagram. Okay, this thing we have already discussed, right? So what is the area of under the shear force diagram? The area under the shear force diagram is nothing but half into 55 into 6.875. Okay, and which is equals to mf minus of m initial. M initial is what? M initial is starting from there, a point, it is 0. Okay, and mf is basically we need to find, so the value of mf will be 55 into 6.875 divided by 2. So the value of this value comes out to be 180 at a distance of 6.875. This value comes out to be 189.0625. Okay, so this is the value for which you need to design the beam. Okay, at these portions you need to design the beam for this moment. So this is the maximum moment which is coming on the beam. Okay, and you can say that, and you can see that the direction which we have assumed, the sagging is considered positive, and at this portion there is hogging, so it is considered negative, right? So this is the case. Now let us see. Now let us come to this column, this what you can say that this column case, okay, because this is the important part. In case of this beam, we know that the sagging is considered positive and the hogging is considered negative. But in case of columns, we don't know whether it is hogging or whether it is hogging or there is sagging. Okay, in case of this vertical member, we don't know. We don't know whether it is hogging or sagging. Okay, hogging, sagging we can define like this for horizontal member. For this member, we cannot define hogging and sagging, right? So in this for this vertical member, what we do, we calculate, we assume the direction like that. The ordinate of the bending moment diagram will be shown on this compression side, right? Will be shown on the compression side. Okay. So what I meant by that is that as we don't know, if let us suppose this is column, we don't know whether it is sagging or whether it is hogging. Okay, we don't know for the vertical members, right? So actually it is not defined for the vertical members. This is defined for this horizontal members only, this hogging and sagging, right? So now if let us suppose this is the column, okay, and there is one moment acting, let us suppose at MAB, okay, and this is direction is clockwise. So here one moment is acting which is anti-clockwise, and this value is basically you can say that MPA. Okay, so if I want to draw and there will be some forces also, there will be some forces will be there. Okay, so if I want to draw, so what I'm assuming in this thing is that I am drawing this, what you can say that the ordinate, the bending moment is drawn on the compression side. This term is written on the books, and what is the meaning of that, this thing we will discuss over here. It means that the bending moment diagram, the ordinate will be given from the compression side, right? So if this is this MAB, right, and this is, if I see, this is producing, if this is column, okay. So this moment is producing compression on this face, okay, and tension on this face. Okay. If you consider, what you can say, if let us suppose this is a column, okay, and there is a moment acting on this beam, so this will try to bend like this. Okay, this moment will make this column bend like this. Okay, so when this thing is happening, so this portion, this face will be in compression. Okay, this will be in compression, right? Similarly, for this thing, for if we look for this, thing, so what you can say that, let us suppose this look like this. Okay, so if this is the thing, so this moment will provide compression in this side. Okay, this moment will provide compression at this side, right? So the bending moment diagram will always start from here. The ordinate of the bending moment will be defined at the what you can say that compression side. Okay, the outermost fiber at this column is in compression. Okay, the bending moment, and here also this outermost fiber is in compression, right? So actually we are defining this ordinate from in the compression side. Okay. So this is the case. Actually, in the horizontal what you can say that in horizontal, when we are giving the horizontal members, it is easy to define this sagging and hogging. Okay. But if you see this thing, this is the condition over here. Okay. Right. And if you somehow let us rotate this thing like this. Okay, if you rotate this thing, it will look like this. And if you plot the bending moment diagram for this thing, it will look like this. Okay. Here the reference line is this. Reference line, what you can say. Okay, and if I rotate this thing, the reference line is this. Now you can see that what you can say, this sagging portion, this is positive and this is negative. Okay. So this assumption which we have assumed previously, it is similar to this assumption, right? But here we cannot define the thing for the vertical members. We cannot define the things in terms of hogging and sagging. That's why we saying that we will the bending moment we will draw in the compression side. By assuming that thing, we are similar to our assumption which we have assumed previously for the horizontal member. Okay. So again, if we come to this figure, we look from this side. Okay, and I'm assuming that this is the positive axis, right? So at this point, the bending moment diagram is anti-clockwise basically. So it will be start from here. It will start from here because I'm assuming that this is our positive direction in this direction, right? Same we assume for the shear force also. And at this end, you can see that at this end also you can see that the moment is basically, what you can say that is anti-clockwise moment. Okay. So this moment will provide compression on this side, compression, tension here. Okay. So bending moment diagram will be drawn from the compression side. Okay. And here you can see that this portion, the compression will be here and tension will be here. So this bending moment diagram will be like this. Okay. This value is nothing but 132 kilonewton meter, right? So this is considered negative, or this is this you can say negative, on this you can say positive, something like that. Okay. With reference to this axis, with reference to this coordinate axis. Okay. Coordinate axis we are assuming this direction. Okay. So this is our reference axis. So this is positive and this is negative, like that we are saying. Okay. So you can see that bending moment is always drawn on the compression side, from the compression side, right? Means if you want to define this thing in hogging terms, or not hogging terms, by seeing this diagram, this phase is in compression and this will be in tension. By this thing you can say that this is in compression and this is in tension, right? So this is the case. So this is how you define the what you can say that bending moment for this vertical members. Okay. Now we need to draw what will be the deflection diagram for this beam. Guys, we'll see some different example also where we'll be drawing this shear force diagram and the bending moment diagram for this vertical frames members. In there things will be more cleared, right? So now let us draw this deflection curve. Okay. So if you see that, if you see what at A I'm getting the rotation in clockwise direction, right? So at A the deflection curve will look like this. At A the deflection curve will look like this. This theta A is clockwise and its value is nothing but 174 over EI, right? This is the tangent at A. Okay, so this will look like this. Now you can see that this complete portion is under sagging, okay? And at B there is hogging, you can see from this diagram, there is hogging, okay? So, and the rotation at B is anti-clockwise, okay? So when there is an hogging, so it will bend like this. So now you can see that this theta B is anti-clockwise, and this is nothing but point of inflection, okay? Here it is termed as point of contraflexure, right? This is the case. Here you can see that this top is in compression, this bottom part is in tension, okay? This is an example of sagging. Here you can see that this top tension and this bottom is in compression, okay? So this is the case. So here the tangent will look like this, and again 90 degree will look like this. 90 degree to this, the one line will be 90 degree to this tangent. Now let us come to this deflection of this column, how this column will deflect, okay? This column is up to here. It will deflect like this. There at this point, this is nothing but point of inflection, okay? You can calculate easily that point, okay? You all have forces, and the angle between these two members is basically 90 degree. These two tangents will be 90 degree, okay? Because the angle between two members are 90 degree, okay? Now you can, and theta B for this member will be again anti-clockwise, so it will bend like this, okay? And with the help of this diagram, you can see that bending moment diagram, you can see that this portion is in compression and this portion is in tension. That's why we draw the bending moment diagram from the compression side, because it is easy to identify, right? This portion from this side is in compression, right? And how it is deflecting, that we can find with the help of theta. And after this point, this is point of contraflexure. You can see that this is compression and this is tension, okay? So this is the way your deflection diagram will look like, right? So this is a very good problem to understand how the deflection curve is drawn with the help of the bending moment diagram, and how we draw the bending moment diagram, that is an important thing, okay? What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that is that bending moment is drawn from the compression side. So this is the meaning of this bending moment is drawn, the ordinate is from the compression side basically, right? Okay, and this is the reference line for this bending moment diagram. Okay, this is the reference line from this bending moment diagram. Okay guys, so if you have any doubt regarding this, you can write in the comment section. Okay guys, so thank you very much. If you will see more problems on how to draw this bending moment diagram. Actually it is a little bit confusing, so we'll see more problems on how to draw this bending moment diagram from these frame structures. Okay, so guys, thank you very much.